Good morning and welcome. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and walking wounded today, a little under the weather. I was off on yesterday. I was sick. Let's just call it what it was. Powering through, though, today. You know what? It's Labor Day weekend. We're closed on Monday. So be prepared. If you have the means to do so, add to your holdings before you head out. Because you think about it, you got to go all of today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, before you can do anything again on Tuesday. And you know how it is out there. I mean, I don't know what's going to be tweeted out, said, fake news, real news. That's a lot of days before you can do what you need to do. So take the time. Just keep adding. Add. I've been telling you this. Gold and silver, they don't let you in. You know, this is what happens when you get into the runs that we've seen here, especially of late, right? Every pullback is brief. It's a day. Maybe you get lucky and it goes down for 2 days, and then it's back on the move again. We had a pullback yesterday. Yesterday really was all about the August gold contract expired. That was an August contract. So there was profit taking, all that stuff today. Gold is at 1530. Silver up again. Man, silver's just getting started. I mean, we're sitting here. You're thinking about, silver's 1835 right now, and you're like, man, it's come a long way. Look at, it was $15 not that long ago. Now we're talking about almost 18 and a half. $20 is coming. 22, 24, 26, where it ends up, probably, and I hate, not short term, but longer term, right? $50 silver, we're going to have to start talking about it again. But again, we're going to continue to see multi-year highs. Gold is at record highs all across the world. It'll be here soon as well. And really, because it's a debt problem, it's always been a debt problem. Now we have a superpower problem, right? China and the U.S. This is not a trade war. I've been telling you that it's not a trade war. It's not even really a currency war. It's a superpower war. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number to get yourself that wealth insurance. It's not about how big your 401k or your IRA is. It's not. It's about how much does it weigh. The website at allamericangold.com. Got all the articles. Great. You know what? Ramon's got it loaded up today. So many great articles, the videos, the metals plan. Don't forget about the metals plan. Right, a lot of you, like today, we're going to run a special today that's over $1,600. And it's limited, and it's going to be great. I'll get to that later. But for a lot of you, it's like, hey, man, I don't have $1,600. I get it. But you know what? We want to cater to everybody. Everybody should be able to prepare. Everybody should be able to get ready for what's coming, and you know it's coming. $454 billion we had to borrow in August. Now, a lot of that was because we had to restock the Treasury, but get used to those numbers. It makes no sense. Everybody knows it makes no sense. Interest rates near zero, negative, how low they go. Right now, all of a sudden, the Federal Reserve, zero is just a number. Of course we can go lower than zero, of course. Now you got former Federal Reserve chiefs trying to get rid of the president. Yeah. It's a lot at stake here. A lot at stake. So the metals plan, for as little as $100 a month, you can get started. You get 4 deliveries a year. And the thing that we do with the metals program is we pool all the money together. So you get a volume discount. Doesn't matter if you're at the low end, the high end. I mean, we have everywhere from $100 a month to $2,000, $2,500 a month. You can do as much as you want. And I like to liken it to it. It's kind of our version of a 401k. You don't get pre-tax and all that stuff. Right, of course, but who wants that anyway? Right? Do you really want stuff pre-tax? Because what's the taxes going to be in 10 years? Where are they going to be? And you get 4 physical shipments a year. So if let's just say you're at the low end, you're at $100 a month. At the end of every quarter, you got $300. We're going to get you a shipment. What are the fees? How much does it cost to sign up? 0. What if I need to cancel? What does that cost? Nothing. What if I had an unexpected event come up. I had an expense. I needed new tires. I can't do it this month. I got to put my plan on hold. What does that cost? Nothing. There are no fees. The only time you pay a fee is if you can't pick it up in Phoenix or Denver, we do charge shipping. Listen, let's face it, most of the time we don't even cover our shipping costs, but it's nominal. If you're at $100 a month, we're not hitting you for $35 to ship. But just to ship it, just flat out registered insured alone is like $20. But we keep it affordable. Everybody should be allowed to participate in this. If you want more details, go to allamericangold.com. We'll be back. Got a great special, got a great show. Get ready for the holiday. 800-951-0592. By the way, the metals program, new all-time records. Yeah, it'll be the largest metals plan participation yet. The bigger it gets, the better it gets. That's even a better part about it. So if you want to sign up for that, go out to allamericangold.com. Along the top there, we've got the metals program. It's got all the details, all the information on it. Or you can just call us here. Arlene can walk you through it. It is simple. It truly, truly is. It's so easy. We have. You can change the amount. You can cancel it. You can put it on hold. You can start it up. Whatever you want. You pick the day of the month. You leave a credit card, a debit card on file with us. You tell us the day of the month that works good for you, and we just go from there. 4 shipments a year, and you think about where we're headed, and you just keep putting it away. It's a great way. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. All of a sudden you've been in the plan a year, 2, 3, and all of a sudden you're like, man, I got a nice little nest egg here. It's really great for you preppers out there. It doesn't have to break the bank, right? You don't need to have the big money. Obviously, if you do and you want to make a big purchase, great, we got that too. But you can just little by little start accumulating that wealth insurance. The president, we had a bunch of economic data out. Listen, I'm not going to talk a lot about it. Here's what this is what you got to believe today: that we spent way more. Consumers spent way more money than they earned. Which we know, right? We know that, right? We know we've seen the debts, but this one was really out of hand. The big wage gains have gone. They disappeared. They went away. The body snatchers came into your paycheck, and the spending continued. Consumer confidence, big hit there. And of course, they love that number, which, of course, I don't know why they love those survey numbers so much, but it was way down into the 80s. We haven't seen a number like that in years. So we'll have to wait and see the tariffs. By the way, September 1st. So another thing that's going to happen over the weekend. The first part of the tariffs are happening September 1st, so we'll have to see. And then, of course, remember, we're supposed to go up to 30% on the stuff that's already up there. So a lot of things going on. The president active today on Twitter, hammering General Motors, hammering all the bad U.S. companies. You know what? He's not wrong. he really started attacking these companies that are crying about the tariffs. And I'm going to share it with you. And this is the problem that we had. Listen, this was created. What the president is frustrated about today, this was created with the bailouts. It really was. First, let's talk about General Motors. The president talking about the huge presence that General Motors has in China and questioned whether the automaker should be moving operations back to the United States. GM, once a giant of Detroit, is now one of the smallest auto manufacturers there. They're barely there. Listen, if General Motors had their way, they wouldn't make any vehicles in the U.S. They don't make any cars anymore, and neither do any of them, right? And that's all by design because they can't make any money. When they sell a car, they don't make any money. So they got to move it to Mexico to make money. Now, the SUVs, they still make money there. So the only thing they will make here are SUVs. And even those, how long? They said they moved major plants to China before I came into office. This was done despite the saving help given to them by the USA, by the taxpayers, right? We bailed them out. They should start moving back to America again. Now, he asked that as a question, by the way, in his tweet. Here's the thing. This is what happens when you bail out bad companies. This is what happens. Right? When you bail out bad, I'll give you a better example. Sears and Kmart. How are they still even here? J.C. Penney's, Macy's. These stores should have been gone 12 years ago. Right? They should have been. Well, Sears, Kmart should have been gone 20 years ago. And here's the thing, right? The central bank, the Federal Reserve, right? All these ultra low rates, right? They keep these people in business because they're not really companies, right? The big thing for them is it's all about debt. Hey, how can we roll over this debt? How can we do that? How can we make this debt payment? How can we get more debt? And then if we can get more debt, if we get someone to borrow some money, we can pay some of the debt we already got. Right? General Electric now, they're just a debt company. That's all they are. Then the president went out and started after hitting GM, started on Friday again, arguing that badly run and weak companies have blamed this trade war with China for their failing businesses in order to mask bad management. And amen. Amen. But again, we bailed all of these companies out. Right? When you think about go back to the crisis, right? Yes, we gave, General Motors, Chrysler, we literally wrote them checks. But when we bailed out these banks, we ended up bailing out a lot of these companies now that the president is so upset about. And when you sit there and you think about what he's saying, he's not wrong. These were poorly run, and this is the part that really is upsetting, is they wanted us to believe, oh my God, we can't let them go under. People will be unemployed. Well, guess what? They left anyway. The vast majority of these horrible companies don't even make their stuff here. They already lost the job. The job is gone. Yeah, you got the token guys at the car lots, right? Maybe the guy's still making an SUV. You think that some other company couldn't have emerged? This is one of the great things about America. Right? The capitalism and that free spirit. Somebody would have filled the void. A better operator, a better idea would have emerged. You know, and I would think about, why don't we have better GDP? See, well, I was gone yesterday. GDP got lowered, right? Now it was only 2%. How come we only have 2% GDP with a $1 trillion budget deficit, and literally we gave away the farm and tax breaks to these companies? Right? Well, I told you what they were going to do. Right? What did they all do? They didn't hire people. Maybe they threw you a bonus a couple of years ago. Right? Maybe you got a 25-cent raise. Let's go crazy. Maybe they gave you $1. That's it. Now they don't build factories. They buy back their stock. All the research and development that can be done is being done somewhere else. I loved it. So, being sick has its advantages. So I had the idiot box on. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Fox and I'm listening to these guys talking about how the trade war, Vietnam's the big winner. What? Now, pay no attention to the fact, by the way, every single company that announces they're moving to Vietnam, they were moving there a couple of years ago. Before the trade war even started. You got to remember, it takes time. Let's just say you're a manufacturer and you want to go to Vietnam because, listen, why are they going to Vietnam? Vietnam will work for less than the Chinese. First, you got to build the plant. Right? So think about it. You got to go to the Vietnam government, right? They got all their, it's another communist nation. Right? I'm saying they are already on the list of being a currency manipulator. Nobody even says that. I mean, it baffles the mind like that's going to be better. Here's the only thing that's better about Vietnam over China. Vietnam doesn't have enough people to become a superpower, right? We can probably control them a little better. But everybody knows, right? Their buddies are the Chinese. And they're going to be the big winner. They're acting like all these companies are leaving China. They're not leaving China. They just want to sell stuff to Vietnam, too. So Vietnam's like, well, if you give us some jobs, we'll let you sell some stuff. This is stuff, it probably takes 3, maybe 5 years before you get, before you get the deal done with the government. You get your permits, you build your building, you get all the equipment you're going to need made. This equipment, it's not like you go to the shelf at Walmart and buy it. Right? You got to get it all made. You got to get it put in. You got to hire the people. You got to get the shipping logistics and the boats and all that stuff all worked out. It takes years. And they're talking about, oh, look how great it is. Vietnam's the winner. Like I said, they're not coming back here. And I applaud the president. It sounds great. It's a great soundbite. Bring the jobs back. It sounds great. They're not going to do it. Why? Because most of them are already horribly run companies. All they care about is, hey, wait a minute, can I get this made for less somewhere else? That's it. And, of course, you think about, we bail them all out. And now we're dealing with it, aren't we? All these retailers, I forget, there's a big group. They got like 4,000 stores. They own Loft, Ann Taylor, I think Lane Bryant, maybe. I can't remember all of them. I'll have to look it up. Getting ready to go bankrupt. Forever 21, 800 stores. They're going out of business. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And they're sitting there talking about how Vietnam's going to be the big winner. Really? Vietnam? right? We just named them a currency manipulator 3 months ago, right? They're as bad as the Chinese. How is that any better, right? It makes no sense. And yet they want you to believe it. See how great it is? Seriously, I'm watching Fox News, and I think it was like Neil Cavuto was out there acting like, man, this is the greatest thing ever. Vietnam's going to win. And I'm just thinking, are you kidding me? How is that any better? Well, it is. It just, again, they just want to, give you the idea. Oh, by the way, that was the other thing, too, right? Yesterday, the big rally because China said, oh, we don't want to have the trade war escalate. Duh! China's been saying it the whole time. They don't want a trade war at all. Right? No, hey, how about you just stop doing this? Right? That's all they want. Trump to stop. Do they want to give in? Do they want to do it? No. You got to remember, and just you need to understand this. What we're asking for is for China to stop being a communist country. It's not going to happen. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, presenting a daily conservative pro-family perspective since 1983 and continuing the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
In the days and weeks following President Trump's Salute to America celebrations for Independence Day in Washington, D.C., the silence from President Trump's many critics seemed deafening. The anti-Trumpers had pontificated and presupposed Trump's every word and motive before the event, but they found themselves in intellectual hiding. Prior to Independence Day, Georgetown professor Michael Dyson compared the Betsy Ross American flag to the Nazi swastika or the Ku Klux Klan cross. Harvard Law's Lawrence Tribe called our military's tank display a chilling resemblance to Tiananmen Square, where the Chinese government murdered its own citizens in the streets. Dozens of other liberal professors took to Twitter, complaining that the speech and parade would be an egotistical Trump campaign commercial. Instead, as we all saw and know, what Donald Trump delivered was an hour-long tribute to our armed forces and our rich national story that made fools of every ridiculous professor and critic in the country. President Trump referred to his Democrat opponents, his Republican allies, or even the words Republican or Democrat exactly 0 times. He referred to himself only 7 times, all of them in thanking or recognizing other people. Trump lifted up the accomplishments of others and praised the American spirit that has defined who we are as a nation. Let me read to you just one excerpt from the president's tribute to America. Together, we are part of one of the greatest stories ever told, the story of America. It's the epic tale of a great nation whose people have risked everything for what they know is right and what they know is true. And it is the saga of 13 separate colonies that united to form the most just and virtuous republic ever conceived. Now we must go forward as a nation with that same unity of purpose. As long as we stay true to our cause, as long as we remember our great history, as long as we never stop fighting for a better future, then there will be nothing that America cannot do. On Independence Day, President Trump truly was our uniter in chief.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. As President Trump fulfills his campaign promises, his accomplishments on trade, immigration, the economy, and protecting the unborn should be celebrated, not ignored or diminished. To track these victories, go to phyllisschlafly.com and find out what's next for the Trump presidency at phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening to the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592. Wall Street is mixed. The S&P, the NASDAQ are down. The Dow's up 30. Silver's up 15. Gold's down $2. Today's special, and it's not. I don't have a lot, but it's a great item. I have 30 AU $20 St. Gaudens. Obviously, those of you that know, right, the St. Gaudens, most people will tell you this was the best coin the United States ever minted. And by best, the design. It's the full-bodied Lady Liberty. We use that design now, that same design on the Silver Eagles, right? It's got the full-bodied walking Lady Liberty. It's a beautiful coin. Remember, Teddy Roosevelt, he did not think the Liberty, remember the $20 Liberty, the side profile of Lady Liberty's face, that coin wasn't majestic enough to represent the power that the United States had become. Because whether people wanted to recognize it yet or not, we were a superpower. And Teddy Roosevelt said, we need a superpower-looking gold coin. It needs to be better than what the English are doing, and the better than what the Europeans are doing. And remember, back in the day, right? The French had their mint, the Germans had theirs, the English had theirs, right? He wanted the best one, and he commissioned an artist named Augustus St. Gaudens to do the design. And St. Gaudens died right as production was starting on the series, so they named the coin after him, hence how it got its name, the St. Gaudens gold piece. And that was in production from 1908 to 1933. Of course, in 1933, they took the gold away. And you think about the $20, right? So that it used to be $20. This is what our central bank has done. They took something that was worth $20, and now it's worth over $1,600. That's why I said they're in our pocket. They steal from us on a daily basis. The greatest theft of all time. Right? You talk about it's a legalized. Remember the pirates? Like they had Blackbeard and Redbeard, and right there, they'd steal. You know, the ships were carrying the gold, and they'd come up and they'd steal the gold. This is far worse. The central bank steals from us every day. Right? And how do I? Well, come on. No, they don't. Yeah, they do. You know, they've got a target, which they just made up, by the way. They made that up by, what was it, 06? An inflation target. 2%. That's how much they want to rob you every year. 2%. See, they don't want to rob you. They don't want to take it all. We'll just take a little bit at a time. You know, can you imagine in 20 years you just lost 40%? That's what they want to do. Now, do they explain it that way? Of course not. Because if they explained it that way, you'd be upset. Now, it was okay. Hey, you want to rob me 2%, but I got 7 or 8% interest. I can live with it. Now you don't get any interest. Now it's just, what, flat out robbing. Of course, Alan Greenspan let you know, hey, get ready. We're going to start taxing you even harder because zero's not the number. -1, -2, -3. We're already seeing it in Europe. They're starting to tax deposits. And I say tax because the central bank has control over it, and they deliberately allow these rates to be negative. So I have 30 AUs. And what an AU means is it's almost uncirculated, which means these coins barely saw the light of day. So these are about as nice as they get before they get graded, right? And they come in the case and they pay the money and all that stuff. So these are going to be just really top of the line St. Gaudens. Right now, a regular St. Gaudens is $1,625. That's a circulated one. But these are even nicer than those. And you know the stuff. If you've ever bought from us, you know. Everything we handle is good-looking stuff. These are really sharp-looking. 1 through 9 at $1,610. You buy 10 or more, $1,600. So if you buy 10 of them, it's going to be $25 cheaper, and it's going to be an even better looking coin than what we normally carry at 800-951-0592. Take the time, put them away. Like I said, it's too much time. You got the rest of the day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? By Tuesday, who knows what could be happening. If you got the means, hey, if you, 1, 5, 10, or whatever it is, we've got 30 total at 1610, 1 through 9, 1,610, 10 or more at 1,600. You know, got gold sitting around 1,530. Just great value there at 800-951-0592. Silver, I got to give you an update. Big volumes happening in the physical silver markets. We do have some 2019 Silver Eagles out there, but that's it. There are no more back dates. Everything's been being bought up. We'll have to watch the silver supply going forward, because you got to remember, the mint has silver consumption, right, has been soft. We went from 40 to 50 million ounces to like 20 million ounces in the last couple of years. Now all of a sudden that volume is starting to come back, and it's probably going to be a hard thing for the mint to keep up. My guess will be in silver. This is just my guess. Assuming the price continues to do what I think it's going to do, I will not be shocked to see $20 silver in September. Between now and the end of the year, don't be surprised if silver's kind of off and on. What I mean by that is sometimes there will be product available, sometimes there won't be product available. As these volumes start to surge, it's going to be harder for the mint to ramp up production. And then, of course, the end of the year, they got to get ready for the 2020s. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. What a tangled web that is being weaved right now by the pinstripe bandits. The central bank, it needs to end. This is from Chris Hamilton, economics blog. For those of you that don't know Chris, does a lot of great research out there. I don't know how this is possible without them making a formal announcement. But again, it's the government. They do what they want, and especially when it comes to the central bank. When we sit here and talk about the need for audits, this is one of the things that just screams for we need to know what's happening out there. According to their information from the St. Louis Federal Reserve, the U.S. Federal Reserve has started buying treasuries again. I haven't heard, there's been no formal announcements of QE4. The amounts that are being bought, it's too great to be from the mortgage-backed securities. Remember, right now, there's no more quantitative tightening, right? That ended. Boy, what a bad idea that was. Hey, we're going to start running off the balance sheet. And then what did it go? A year, not even a year, and they had to stop? Now, they did say that they were going to take whatever mortgage securities they had left and make them into treasuries, but that's only going to be $20 billion a month. According to the data, and again, Chris Hamilton reporting, for the second week in a row, the Federal Reserve has been buying treasuries. This week was $14 billion. In other words, so $20 billion could have been mortgages for a month. But in the last 2 weeks, they've already bought more than that. And again, I don't know what. Obviously, we've been talking about the bid to covers. There was an auction on Wednesday, a 7-year auction that had the worst bid to covers since the financial crisis. And now we're starting to see that a lot now. Hey, it's the worst bid to cover in 12 years. It's the worst bid to cover since 08. It's the worst bid to cover since 09. Now remember, I've been educating you about what bid to cover means. Right? That means, hey, listen, we got to sell $30 billion today. Everybody place your bids. And remember, we want to what? Pay the least amount of interest. So the lowest bids win. The amount of people bidding keeps declining. And now for the second week in a row, the Federal Reserve has been buying. The only reason I can think of is they want to keep interest rates low, right? So they're placing bids that, hey, right, hey, we got to keep this thing down there, right? Bid low. Or what would be even worse is the bids they have are so high. Hey, I'll buy them. But I'm not taking 1.4 something or 1.3 something or 1.2 something. Right? You're going to have to pay me more. And it essentially what? Cause horrible reactions in the bond market. And in order and this is what I think, because they haven't made the announcement yet, and it's coming. Listen, I've already told you, it's already happened. They're going to be buying the debt. I guarantee it. It's just too much. Is they're in here, they don't want to be yet, but they have to be to keep stability in the bond market, to give the illusion that everything's fine. Obviously, if everything was fine, they wouldn't be buying treasuries. And again, right, they want to fool you. They want to act like, hey, listen, let's just keep these idiots in the dark. Right? Let's go out on TV and tell everybody how great everything is. We'll go to Jackson Hole. Let's go have a meeting. Let's go tell everybody what a great job we're doing. And the president, he should stop attacking us. Really? Maybe what we really need to know is what the hell is going on? What have you done? I mean, you think about economics, think about money and fiat money, and we know it goes to zero, right? Just printing money out of thin air. We know that doesn't work. And yet the whole world is going to negative rates. I mean, Spain is the next country to go negative, right? France is negative. Germany is negative. Japan is negative, right? We've got, I don't even know, what is it, 18, 19, $20 trillion of negative rates. And just to save our bond market, where should the bond market be right now? I don't know. Should the 10-year note be at new all-time record lows? My guess is probably. Yes, earlier this week, we were within 1 basis point of hitting an all-time low in a 10-year note. We did it in the 30-year. Rates aren't even zero yet. According to the morons at the central bank, they say it's 2 to 2.25%. Idiots. And now we find out for the second week in a row, they're in there. What are they doing? Right? Listen, let's not have it be where they want it to go. Let's keep the illusion of prosperity together while we continue to fleece and rob everybody. Let me tell you right now, put that gold away and be glad you did. AU Saints, 1610, buy 10 or more, 1600. Final segment of the week coming up. Eight 800-951-0592. 2 lines open. That's it. We got 2 lines open. We just had our first 10 go off the board. So we got 20 remaining AU Saints. So they're almost uncirculated. This is about as nice of a coin as you're going to get without it being encapsulated. Here's what we do best here. Everybody charges way more for these coins. Everybody charges more, not us. You actually can buy them for less. $16.10, so that's $15 off a regular St. Gaudens price. Then if you buy 10 or more, I'll take off another $10 to $1,600 at 800-951-0592. You know, we had that meeting out there in Jackson Hole. Standard Chartered is starting to release some of the comments made by the central bank in the meeting. They said that there was an apparent consensus amongst the Jackson Hole participants, those are the central banks, that U.S. rates and the U.S. dollar were too high. Isn't that what the president's been saying? Right, I keep telling you, Donald Trump's telling you by goal. The Jackson Hole participants in discussions of the negative impact of U.S. dollar strength focused on emerging market economies, extensive discussions of the U.S. dollar, of U.S. rates, and the risk abroad establishes an analytical basis for a weak U.S. dollar as a global policy. So this is something new. This is a new bit of information. So now, according to Standard Chartered, the theme at the Jackson Hole meetings last week was the U.S. dollar and U.S. rates, both of them being too high, and that the best thing for the global policy is a standard, right, a policy where all of these central banks work together in a coordinated effort to drive down the dollar and rates, which kind of means, listen, just like I told you this from the get-go. As soon as they, the insurance cut, if you will, I forgot the term they were trying to use, the mid-course adjustment. Right. Please, shut up. Why don't you just come out and say, dude, we don't know what we're doing? Wasn't a one and done. It's never going to be a one and done. Rates are going to zero and probably less than that, if Alan Greenspan's right. They're already started quantitative easing for. It's just getting started. Sooner or later, they're going to have to come out and say, okay, we're doing it. Now, in Jackson Hole, according to Standard Chartered, they're trying to get the other central banks on board to weaken the dollar. Can you say all-time highs? 800-951-0592. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the holiday. We'll be back on Tuesday.